Hi everyone, we are into Spring Cup and I've played with this team for a couple of days now and I'm doing quite well with it. So we'll roll through what the team is now. This original team was from Jason2890, which then PvP Steve stole, which now I'm stealing. So really no idea as an island. We are just, just cooperating. Let's use that word. I'm totally stealing his idea. Anyway, we are running with the lead of Credilli, then with the Shadow, Galarian Wheezing, and a Jellicent in the back. So let's roll through these games because yeah, I found it really quite easy to work with, and after some tips from PvP Steve as well, we managed to get a fair few wins with it. So I'm doing pretty well with it and going very, very positive in the lower ranks. So this might not be applicable for the higher ranks, but where we are sitting at the moment, it's doing pretty well. So let's dive into it. Okie dokie, into game one, we're against a Dugong. So this is not a bad spot for this Credilli. Although we're doing super effective damage to each other, we get to the Rock Tomb to debuff it. So the key with this particular line is that if you have the Credilli, just debuff everything. I suppose Steve's mantra for this particular team is like, stay in, debuff, don't shield. Was pretty much it. So we can see the Dugong got switched out. Now we're against a Ludicolo. This Ludicolo will get debuffed regardless if it shields or not. And we are trying to be able to get to, yes, we do get to the next Rock Tomb. So it's going to be debuffed twice at this point. So once it's this Credilli is gone, it's done its work, it's done its job, we can safely bring out the Galarian Wheezing and try and Fairy Wind down. We can see that it's already been debuffed twice, so we can safely not shield in this situation. And these Razor Leafs aren't doing too much to this particular Galarian Wheezing. Now we can see that the Dugong has been brought out again, and we've got so much energy. We can actually get to possibly 2 sludges. Yep, then on to the second one. We kind of threaten with an overheat, but we get with the next sludge to try and it's into the yellow at this point, and we don't quite get to the third. At this point I'm like, do I stay, do I go? We decide to shield because we're very close to the next sludge, and we actually bank it and bring in the Jellicent. The Jellicent is able to absorb pretty much everything from this Dugong, and it's so bulky. So this is why I'm kind of like, let's bring, like, Jellicent's a really good pick. Now I get the Wigglytuff, which is, I don't think a lot of people are using in this particular Spring Cup. However, it is there. So we just got to do all this surf damage. The hexes aren't going to do anything. The Shadow Ball isn't going to do anything. So we're just going to have to keep trying to surf it down. And it will get to a particular move, but I think whether they perhaps overtapped or didn't quite get there, we are able to take the Wigglytuff out without them launching a charge attack move. Now their Dugong is back into play. We have that sludge banked from before and able to launch that. So that is game one of this particular team. Now into game two, we are against a Venusaur. Venusaur, I suppose I haven't seen one in a really long time in the play Pokemon circuit, but I guess it can be brought out in these particular niche cups. Again, we go with the same strat. We Rock Tomb straight away. It already brings it down into the yellow and debuffs it as well. So it means these sludge bombs, these frenzy plants, whatever they decide to throw here, it will be less harmful, less hurting. Less sore on my Credilli. We get into the second Rock Tomb. So now they're double debuffed. So again, the rule of thumb here is throw all your Rock Tombs, don't shield, let it go. So we try and get to a third, we don't quite get there, but it means that it's got quite a bit of HP that the next Pokemon can farm down. Now we go for the Galarian Wheezing because Jellicent would not have been a great choice there. And again, it's double debuff. So these friendly plants that are coming through, they're not going to do that much. They might even go for the Sludge Bomb in this case. I think that's my preferred choice. No, they still go for a Frenzy. Okay, and then we get to almost like 2.5 sludges here. So yeah, I don't even press any bubbles because it's so low in health. They bring out the Swampert. Now obviously with Overheat or with Sludge is not the most ideal move against Swampert, but I think in this case I was just like, oh, let's just throw something to try and get a shield. And now they bring in their Togekiss. Now Togekiss is again a Charmer, so it's going to chomp down our HP quite a bit with its fast attack, but we get the Shadow Ball because I have no shields remaining, and we do have 2 shields, so we're in a pretty good spot. We've got 2 Pokemon, we've got a lot of energy, and we've got 2 shields, so we're able to shield this Ancient Power. They do not get the boost. And we take the Togekiss out, so it means that the Swampert, we now have 2 Surfs in place. Now, I wasn't sure if the play was to go straight Shadow Ball, but we go for double Surf because I think that's a little bit more effective. I have to double check with PvP on that, but I'm pretty sure double Surf was the way to go. Into the third match, we're against a Bibarel. Now, Bibarel is like a particular Pokemon that I don't see a lot of, and they switch straight out into the Ferrothorn. So again, we stick with the strategy here. We go for the Rock Tomb, debuff the Ferrothorn. Now, in this particular case, I decide to stay in. As I got familiar with the team, I've decided to actually not stay in. After this, I actually go into the Glaring Wheezing to try and do an overheat. But in this particular match, I stay in. I try to get a Rock Tomb. They CMP us here, and we're able to get to the next Rock Tomb. So this will slowly debuff the Ferrothorn, so then we can actually get, again, whatever Pokemon back to try and farm down later. We get to the next Rock Tomb again, so hopefully brings it down to the red, or they will be in a shield disadvantage, and they don't decide to shield, so it's still 2 shields in play for each of us. And now they throw their last move here, so we just let Credilli go, because Credilli's done his job. It's been debuffed so many times. We possibly could have brought in the Jellicent, but we actually bring in the Glare and Wheezing, and then now against their Bibarel. These Sludges may or may not connect depending on when the shield. They decide not to shield and takes a big chunk out. Now these rollouts do a bit of damage to the Galarian Wheezing, but again, we're doing pretty well in this situation. The Surf is shielded, and now we're going for the second Sludge because Fairy Wind is really quick to generate these Sludges. So I find Galarian Wheezing a really good Pokemon in Spring Cup. So it's definitely, if you have one, definitely use it. If you don't have one, Shadow, that's okay. But if you have one, I think it's a really good one to have to bring into your team. They bring back their Ferrothorn, and we bring out, we've got the Sludge ready to go. So we can try and knock out this Ferrothorn. At this point, they don't shield, and they still have a shield left with that Bibarel. But again, we have so much energy that we should be able to fast attack down. They bring in now their Wheezing, and we have a Sludge ready to go. That Sludge is obviously shielded, but we've got a full health Jellicent. So yeah, they decided to top left here because they probably didn't have Brutal Swing. Into the next match, we're against a Jellicent again, and again, strategy goes Rock Tomb straight away. Now, they CMP us here. I believe this is probably a Surf on count. They do Surf us before we debuff them with the Rock Tomb, so now Rock Tomb goes through. Again, the rule of thumb here is debuff, stay in, just debuff. And they get into their next move. It's probably another Surf here again, and then but again, you see how much it debuffs it. We're into the red, but we're still quite healthy in this range. The Rock Tomb goes through, connects with the Jellicent. The Jellicent's taken out. A Gardevoir comes through, which is really interesting. I haven't seen Gardevoir so far. I think this was the only match I saw Gardevoir in. And then we get up to the Sludge. Now they actually swap out the Gardevoir into a Trevenant, and the Trevenant does take this Sludge. Look, it's already in such little health. We get to the next Sludge. So I was kind of wondering that they may have got to Seed Bomb and maybe not to the Shadow Ball. They do shield. Now they're able to launch their charge move. We decided to shield because I was worried about Shadow Ball. It was Shadow Ball. But then I was like, you know what? We're going to farm down. We're going to farm down. We should be able to get there. So we farm all the way down, get a lot of energy. We get against the Gardevoir again. That Charm does go through. I'm not sure if that takes us out. Doesn't quite take us out. Do I get to the next one? I don't. The Wheezing goes down. So now we've got all these Hex. We can Hex down here. The Hexes will definitely take the Gardevoir out. They triple Axle us. So their attack has risen, but we're going to outpace them to the next charge move here. And I go for the Shadow Ball. I go for a nice. And just to take the Gardevoir out because it's on a little health there. Okay, next match here we have the Walrein. So again, really actually a particularly good matchup for us for a lead. They get to the Icicle Spear first. So it does take a good chunk out. However, again, we stay with the rule here. Throw in the Rock Tomb, stay in, just debuff. They use a shield, so now they're in the shield disadvantage. We've got 2 shields, they've got 1. We just don't shield, let this Credilli go. It's done its job, and then we can safely bring out the next Pokemon. And here I was kind of thinking, do I bring out Jellicent instead of Galarian Wheezing? And we do. We bring out Jellicent because I was like, okay, well, with the Icicle Spears, we should be able to take them quite well. It might have Earthquake, but even that, Jellicent's quite bulky, so we should be okay. We go for the Shadow Ball. The Shadow Ball connects, and it's only such little health left. So We let this go. We save our 2 shields for later, and the Earthquake does, what would you call that? Maybe 30% damage. So we're still in a good spot. Now, Serperior, obviously being a grass type, us being a water type here, it's not a great situation, but we do have Shadow Ball. The Shadow Ball connects. It goes into about close to half health. And in this particular spot, I'm like, you know what? Jellicent's done his job. But they went for Aero Ace instead of Frenzy Plant, which I was kind of expecting. We do, you know what? We were a bit greedy there. We were trying to go for the Shadow Ball. We could have just gone for a Surf at this range just to threaten it, but we were greedy. So now we're back into our Galarian Wheezing, and we are able to just chip and chip and chip away with the Fairy Winds. I'm really surprised how much damage Fairy Wind, like Shadow Fairy Wind does. And now we've got enough energy to have 2 Sludges. We throw the first one, hopefully to take it out. And then we are back with now a Mawile. Now, Mawile is a really difficult situation. Mawile actually is something that I have a bit of trouble with in this particular team. And we'll see if we can make it there. We've got to the Overheat, but they do have a shield. So I'm pretty sure it's a game of baits when it comes to this point of the game. So yeah, watch out for the Mawiles. Alrighty, into the next match, and we're against a Golisopod. Now, Golisopod does not want to see a Rock Tomb, so it does. The opposition team has switched straight away with a Credilli, so we're in a mirror match here, and we're able to get to the next one, but they get charge attack priority. So we're just going to have to take a Grass Knot, which is interesting, but you know, they do them, and we go for the next Rock Tomb. So it means that they're double debuffed at this point, so we are pretty comfortable. We'll be able to take whatever they throw at us, whether it's a Rock Tomb, a Rock Slide, a Grass Knot in this situation, and they go for another Grass Knot, and yeah, we'll go Rock Tomb again just to debuff them one more time. So they're triple debuffed by this point, but they let it go. Now back to the Golisopod. Can I get to the Rock Tomb? I can't, so we let this go again. No shielding, just Rock Tombing. But it means that this Golisopod has not been debuffed, so it's going to hit pretty hard. We bring in our Galarian Wheezing, we get to the Sludge, they make it to their move first, and I'm like, oh, we're going to shield. They haven't been debuffed, even though it's an Aerial Ace. We throw the Sludge, and hopefully it does connect. Golisopod is an interesting particular Pokemon because it actually, I find it a little bit glassy, but it does survive, but it is a little bit frail in my opinion. So we let this one go, we let the Aero Ace connect, and then we get to the next Sludge. So again, hoping that they don't shield and that we can get this Golisopod out of the way. They do shield, so we're like, okay, all right, what do we do here? We go and try and get to the next Sludge. They get to the next move, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to shield here. I let it go. I'm just hoping we can bank it all on Jellicent in the back and just try and hex down. Now, in this particular situation, I'm like, do I shield? Don't I shield? And I don't shield this Aero Ace, so that goes in our favor. And now they're bringing in their Wheezing. They're shieldless in this situation, so we can Shadow Ball here, try and farm down, get enough energy to land something against that Golisopod in the back. So just hoping they don't have Brutal Swing. If the Wheezing has Brutal Swing, obviously that's GG's on us. They do have Sludge, but we still decide to shield because we really need the health, and they get to the second Sludge. I'm hoping it's Sludge. It is Sludge. If it was Brutal Swing, it would go a different way by now. And I got a little bit worried, so I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to throw the Surf here, and so then we already have another move banked for the Golisopod in the back, and managed to go for Surf. I probably could have gone for Shadow Ball here, but I think my thumb was already on the Surf, so let's get that there. Now we're against the Greninja. Now Greninja is super spammy and also has Night Slash, so it's kind of something that I'm like, oh, against our Jellicent's not going to be very good. Again, we stick with the rule. We're going to go for the Rock Tombs, although Grass Knot would probably be better in this situation, but we want a debuff. And they actually shield because, you know, they're scared it would have been a Grass Knot, so, but they've been debuffed, so really handy on our side. They Hydro Cannon us here, and now we're into against a Sceptile. The Sceptile, we've got this Rock Tomb again. Throw the Rock Tombs, let the Credilli go down. Just like we're just throwing here. So like let it go. They're gonna probably Leaf Blade us or Frenzy. Oh, Breaking Swipe. Okay, they're Breaking Swipe us, and now we can bring in our Wheezing and just Fairy Wind down. They will probably go for another Breaking Swipe here, and we'll see what they do. Frenzy Plant actually, and Breaking Swipe, Frenzy Plant. Interesting choice. I don't know my Sceptiles. And we're against a Quag now. again, Sludge is not going to be very effective against Quag, but we threaten a shield, which is awesome. So we're on to now this Sludge will connect, and I probably will switch out at some point. I'm hoping I switch out at some point. No, I decide to stay. No, there's my switch. Okay, now we're switching in, and this is quite comfortable. So we're able to take on the Stone Edge, and against the Greninja, of course, the Greninja is going to be a little bit difficult. Again, these Night Slashes are super effective against the Jellicent, so we're going to use both shields probably in this circumstance. I decided to go for the Surfs because I was like, well, Greninja's quite frail, so if we can just try and get it down as low as possible. I was trying to hopefully be able to farm down there, but nope, couldn't do that. So we're just, we'll have to use a shield. And now we have so much energy against this Quagsire. We go for the Shadow Ball to try and land it and try to take it out. It does survive a little bit still, and hopefully can be able to be hexed down. It doesn't get to its next move, so GG's on that. Next one, we have an Abomasnow. Now, Abomasnow is a really interesting Pokemon to bring into Spring Cup. I think it has a lot of coverage. I think if I didn't already run this team, I would be looking something with Abomasnow. And we get into the Rock Tomb. Again, stay in, debuff. I'm going to repeat that so many times in this video just to debuff and debuff, because it means that we are lining up for the next Pokemon to do really well. So Weather Balls takes away the Credilli. They're one shield down. Again, we're trying to get that advantage. And here I decided to shield. I wasn't sure what they would play here. The Weather Ball, and now against a Whiscash. Again, with these Mud Boys, these Sludges aren't going to do too much, but we're hoping to threaten a shield. They don't shield. We switch out straight into the Jellicent, and now the Jellicent is able to take most things from this Whiscash, whether it's Mud Bomb, whether it's Scald, whether they have a fancy Blizzard. We're good. We're good in this situation. So we're going to farm quite a bit up to get lots of energy for any other Pokemon in the back. We take another Mud Bomb. We could take another Mud Bomb if we really wanted to, but we go for the Surfs. We are pretty much at 100 energy at this point, so like let's just get out of here. Let's stop playing around. And then they switch into their Abomasnow. The Abomasnow, we've got this Shadow Ball ready to go, and I forgot how many shields I don't have. Oh no, they still got one shield. They decided not to shield, and they should be able to get to the next Weather Ball here. I don't remember what I decided to. Oh, we do shield because we've still got a bit of energy on this Jellicent. So we want to make sure we use that. And I was like, oh, do I throw? Do I not throw? Decide not to throw. Decide to let this go, and then leave it for the Galarian Wheezing to try and farm up a little bit more. And here comes the Ferrothorn. Now, I go for the Sludge here because they do have a shield remaining. So, and they did shield. So that was a right call, because now we can launch this Overheat. And this is one of my favorite things to do in Spring Cup is overheat a Ferrothorn. Like that, overheating a Ferrothorn is like, it's just like chef's kiss. It's my favorite thing. Well, that's it for the Spring Cup. So hopefully you enjoyed this particular team. I really enjoyed it. I'm having a lot of fun with Spring Cup. Spring Cup will, I suppose, change over time as the meta develops. And yeah, but with this particular team at the moment, having a lot of fun. So give it a try. If you do give it a try, let us know in chat. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to drop a like, a sub. That will be much appreciated. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye. Oh, and to our Patreons and the people that look after us. Thank you so much. I'm just going to drop them below here. Mwah.